heard me say this many times because it's so important. Don't beat yourself up if you can't tune your drum. It may not be your fault. The mystery of drum tuning largely relates to discrepancies in the drum or the drum head. And yes, you can do this at home without professional help. So let's jump to this little demo on how to troubleshoot your drum. Measuring the drum for roundness is simple and revealing. Remove both drum heads. Place the tape measure over the bearing edge and rotate the opposite side of the measure back and forth like a pendulum until you find a center point, like this. Make note of that measurement. See, this drum measures 11 and 13/16 of an inch. Now, rotate 90 degrees and repeat the process. Wow, the reading is the same. This is a good shell. However, if the two measures vary by an 1/8 inch or more, then your shell is out of round to a degree where accurate tuning will never be achieved. A 1/16 of an inch out of round is acceptable. This information will eliminate all guilt and possibly frequent visits to the loony farm. Unfortunately, there's no way to correct this problem, but at least you'll know where your drum is at. Now let's measure the drum for flatness, again with the heads removed. Place the shell on a flat surface, not glass. Often, glass is not flat. Unless you happen to have a machinist granite block in your house, for now, a Formica countertop will have to do. If possible, place a light source over the drum. Using both hands, one on each side, try to rock the shell back and forth. Check this out. If it rocks, then the shell is out of true. In other words, the bearing edges are not flat. Grab a few sheets of common pad or copy paper and slide as many pieces layered together between the bearing edge and the tabletop as you can. If the layers exceed 3 sheets of paper, you'll find it difficult to tune this drum. A sheet of paper is approximately 10/1000 of an inch. The good news is a professional drum mechanic can fix this problem. Head deviation. Ooh, sounds kind of dark, huh? Actually, it means variation of a fixed measurement. When installing a new head, run your eyes along the collar area of the head. Now, I purposely tune this head unevenly, so if you're able to see high and low spots, then the head may not tune very well. If there's a discrepancy, mark the high area, and once you tune the head, keep an eye on that area for problems. You need to know where your drum is at. Proper head fit in the counter hoop. Place the drum head into the counter hoop. It must never be forced into the hoop. Check it out. This is a tuning death wish. Hoops are often out of round, so you want to locate touch points along the edge of the head. Place the hoop under your foot and pull upwards with a slight tug. Continue this process until the head drops into the hoop with absolutely no resistance. Even if the head fits nicely into the hoop, get out the old tape measure and measure the hoop for roundness, just like we did the drum shell. Flatness. Since we're on the hoop topic, you should check for flatness as well. Place the hoop on the countertop. Position your hands on each side of the hoop and try to make it wobble. Hold down the hoop at one side and try to figure out where the hoop is distorted. Place the hoop over the edge of the hard surface. God, not your countertop at home. A workbench would be more appropriate. Give it a little push. Keep doing this until the wobble disappears. Tap testing drum heads. This is a highly controversial topic. I've tested thousands of drum heads, and from my experience, tapping a new drum head does not necessarily reveal the quality of tone it will produce, unless the tap produces a completely dead sound. If the head taps dead, it will always produce a dull and thuddy tone. In other words, a no-good head. Essentially, the tap test is most effective in determining whether a head is completely defective. Tapping a head that has been mounted to a drum, however, is useless. Alignment. Look carefully at the tension rods from the side of the drum. They should be straight up and down vertically in relationship to the shell's surface. Loosen all the tension rods and shift the counter hoop back and forth. It should move freely. Tension rod misalignment exerts pressure on the shell and can make tuning difficult. If you want to keep your sanity, troubleshoot your drums before you turn a single tension rod. Know where your drum is at.